of, and talk about that after we see this first applicant. So are we ready to have the applicant share their screen and start the presentation?
I have the Brian, and Andrew. Brian and Andrew, I have moved you over. Brian, I can share my screen. I have all the slides if you wish.
Okay.
And Andrew, you can go ahead.
Oh, hi. Okay. Thanks for thank you very much. I appreciate that, and thank you for having us back tonight. We recently, I'm just quickly say we were talking about 17 Battery on our previous meeting with the community board, and we're talking about how there was 3 entries that we were looking to update, let's say, on the facade. And we walked away from that meeting after speaking with your group that could we find some additional photographs of the building itself and provide that to the community board. And the concern was somewhat retaining some of the fabric to the building. So what I'm going to present tonight, we went and looked at and tried to find some more facade photographs. I'll show you what we have. Somewhat successful, somewhat I would say not successful in finding images. But I think in talking with Brian, who's also on this call tonight, who works with me, I think I came up with a new solution on how we might be able to do this, and would of course look for your advice on this as well. So I'm just going to go through the presentation again, and I'm going to show you what's changed. But this is going back one page. I'm sorry. Yeah. So this is 17 Battery, as we all know. It's a gorgeous building. It's been there since the original building since 1902. So and it's a beautiful building on the facade of New York City as well, because it's one of the buildings you see in movies and pictures. And no doubt, every time I'm in a movie theater or watching TV and I see that building, I always tell my daughter I work in that building. So it is a beautiful building. I'm very proud of it myself. And I get the opportunity to work on it. So going on to the next slide, it just gives, again, we showed this before, it just gives a little history of the building and so forth on the original and the second building that was added. Going on to the next slide. Now, these are the pictures. So Brian went and started looking for images of the building, and these are the images that we were able to find. The entry in question is to the lower right-hand corner of the building, and we couldn't find anything that was a close-up image of that entry. What we more or less found was these overall shots of the building and how it looked back in 1903, 1907, and 1911 is the images we have here. And let's go to the next slide, please. And again, here we have the building in 1910 and 1911. Now, it was mentioned in our previous meeting how the original, someone had mentioned, I don't know who I give credit for, that the original entry was really in the center of the building, which from the 1910 image, you can see you're right. That's where it was. Now it's been split up, and in the middle of the building is a more of a signage and a terrace area, you could call. In the entry, the main entries to the building is on to the left and the right of the 2 archways of the 3 there. But we're concentrating on the one on the far right currently tonight. But this 1910 gives a nice clean look of the entire building at that time period. Let's turn over to the next page. Here we have some additional images from 1905 and 1910 that we found. The 1905 image, which is the Getty images you can see there, you almost see a straight shot to that door that we're talking about. Again, not a very clear image of what was there, but as I said, I'll move forward. hopefully have a solution to this. Then here we have, next slide, I'm sorry. Here we have 1904, where again, we did a blow up, and it kind of gives a little bit of an essence of a transom that used to be there. But it's kind of to the right, it's kind of tough to see what was on below that transom right there. But it does look like it resembles the transom of the windows on either side too. Okay, nice. But that's actually a nice picture of 1904 on the left too of the building too. That's a pretty clear image of what it used to look like down there. And you know, I have to say, if you look at the surrounding aspect of the building with all the smaller lower buildings, I mean, you could just imagine what the lifestyle was like down there in that time period. It must have been incredible seeing the growth of New York City. Going to the next page, now we come to a little bit of a modern picture of the 2000. And here you can see on the middle picture, it kind of looks like the glass transom is there at that point. But on far right-hand picture, you can kind of see it too. But again, it doesn't kind of show what's down below that very clearly in my mindset. Okay, that's what I see. Those are the images that we went and found, additional images. I have no doubt there's probably more images out there. This, in our research, this is what we came up with. You know, so this is what we found right now. Okay, try to help us. Go ahead and turn the pages here. Next page, and this is the floor plan of the entire building. And to the right is, on the upper right-hand corner, is what we're concentrating on right now today in my conversation. I'll be happy to go over everything else again, but I'm mainly hitting on what we talked about from our last meeting. So that's the area that we're talking about with the entry. And currently, if you move to the next picture, please. This is the lower entry going down next to this, but this that's what you're seeing here in the picture. And also the upper entry, because we're just showing this is kind of a demolition what we're taking out. Next picture, please, slide. Yes, so again, this is how it is today. And these are automatic bifold doors, okay? I personally don't like the look of them, never did. And so what we're proposing is to take out these doors here, leave the transom that's there up above, and then the metal that goes all the way around, we're going to match the window color, which is a bronze color, sorry. And we're going to try to match the windows. But my goal here is to take out those doors that are there. As well as behind those doors is a second set of doors. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yes, here it is. Oh, actually, can you go back? My apologies. Can you go back 2 slides? That's perfect. Thank you very much. So you can see on the plan to the left there, what we're going to do is take out the bifold doors, and there's a second set of doors behind that we're going to take those out too. So there's a small vestibule in between those 2 sets of doors. Okay, let's move forward to the next slide like we had, and go to the next slide. So here's, oh, you can go back 1, please. Thank you very much. Perfect, excellent. So in our previous presentation, and here's I want to call it my solution. In the previous presentation, what we had was a set of doors in the vestibule and another set of doors right up where the existing bifold doors are. And so Brian and I sat down and thought about this. And we looked at it compared to the presentation previously, which is the main entrance to the building, how they redid the facade there. But what we noticed is that facade, that new facade, is actually pushed back from the original facade of the building. And so what we're kind of proposing here is kind of the same concept. So we'll leave the opening, we'll leave the transom there with the glass, and we'll leave the opening there, but the entry to the retail space will actually push it back by 5 feet. So there will be the doors that match the new entry to the building, but they'll be set back. They won't be right on the facade, which is what we originally showed last time. So in not trying to compete with the original essence of the building, we'll just move everything back is what we're going to do here, and not have doors right up the front. If you can go to the next photograph, please, image. So this is the actually this one, next one, but this is good right now. So this is what we're talking about today is to the right, and to the left is what a previous architect did, Fogarty Finger did, and that's in the left-hand side where the three arches are. You have the staircase going up, and they redid the facade, but it's in the back of the facade, so it's not right up flush. So we're proposing the exact same thing in concept here as well with this here. And if you go to the next picture, this was the previous presentation that was done by Fogarty and got approved a while back ago. So let's go to the next picture too, because I just want to bring this up again to your attention. And there wasn't much discussion about this. I just want to make sure that we don't miss upon this detail. So on the picture on the left, what I'm proposing to do is to add an extra granite step there, to extend the granite step, and to match the granite that's there, but to to extend the step out. The reason I'm proposing to do this is because as you walk up and down the steps coming in and out, you have all the steps are the same size, and this last one is larger, and it can throw people off. It's kind of a safety issue for me. So I'm asking if I can also extend the step to keep them all even. I'm just thinking from a safety point of view. That's basically the only reason I'm asking for this as well. But that's what we were mainly speaking about last time. Now, I'm going to just turn it over to you. Do you want me to go through the rest of this presentation? Because this was really the main issue that we were talking about.
I'd like to see just existing and proposed elevations next to each other. Is that possible? Or like 1, 2, you know? Okay, so that's what?
That's going to be proposed right
So
there.
can you show us existing?
Yeah, keep going. Well, that's existing right now.
Well, I'm looking for more of a zoomed out existing. The building is much wider than just that bay. So
Yeah,
I can determine how it's going to be synchronous with the rest of the building.
Yeah, the problem I have, and my apologies, but the building's under scaffolding right now for local R11 work. So I don't have a really great picture at the moment. I have the original pictures that we went through. And Brian, do you have anything?
Well, how does it relate to the rest of all these bays? I'm having trouble understanding the relationship between Bay 7 and the 25 or 30 bays of this build. Okay, so that's proposed, and we're talking about the center bay with the stairs that we're going to. No, that one, the one on the right.
The one on the right,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, the ones in the center have already been done and reviewed and approved. It's already constructed.
So are they made? Is this going to be in the same materials as the ones that are already done?
That's my concept. Yes.
And
Jason, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go,
Just
Vicky,
to add
just go.
to add to your comment, I think what we were looking for is more architecture rather than less. And what we're seeing in the left side proposal, again, is less architecture, less definition of doors, just glass moving in, out, I don't care. We were asking how this compared to the historical design, and I'm still not quite sure how that is comparing to the existing building. I'm sorry,
Um,
to the existing drawings, to the original drawings, because we're slowly desecrating this facade.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I'm saying we went and tried to find photographs that kind of clearly showed what was there of
I
that.
would like more architecture.
Excuse me, can I ask, are there drawings of the past, the present, and the future proposed? Do we have drawings of those that we could see side by side?
Past and future, you're saying?
Yes, whatever's there currently, and I see the proposed here, but do we have a drawing of what exists currently?
I just have the photographs of what exists.
Photographs, okay.
Yeah, which is going to what we showed as yellow. Those bifold doors is what exists currently.
The bifold doors, are they, nothing's under violation here, right? This is not some sort of a legalization.
Not at all.
Okay, cool.
The building ownership would like to get rid of those, remove those bifold doors that are currently there.
I mean, they appear to
Okay.
have been put in at some point when they clearly weren't approved by LPC. Those bifold doors.
Well-
I don't, go ahead. I don't know if they
Interesting
were or not.
question.
but-
Interesting question, Gerald. Thank you.
I mean, I fully appreciate the attempt for the life safety issue with the extra step. But I think doors are really what's in question here. And
Yeah.
the question of whether these are to be inset 5 foot back and what would be seen from the street as opposed to what was there historically, I guess is the question we all need to discuss.
Exactly. Again, it's like more architecture being taken down and removed and kind of just a functional door, but there is no, gosh, I'm sorry, after an entire day of work, there are no stiles, rails, a definition of an opening with lots of architecture detail that would have been there originally.
So may I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
What was approved, and I recall this coming before us, what was approved was a different bay. You're not revising a previously approved plan for this bay. Is that correct?
Yeah, if I understand correctly, correct. The bays to the left of us were the ones that are previous approved.
So again, I have to agree with everyone that the step not only, it sounds fine. In fact, it's probably better, the additional granite step. But I don't mind the recession. I think it probably emphasizes the grandeur of the entrance of the building, the depth. But I have to agree with everyone else that it's just a door.
Right, with nothing in it. Right,
Why
it's
is it
glass.
compared to all the other bays where we've approved it and we massaged it? Why is it so flat? By flat, I mean aesthetically. I don't mean literally.
Right. Good point, Bruce. Thank you.
Maybe if I'm not understanding the question, that's okay. Somebody said, been a long day too. But in the other bays, when they did this, that whole new facade also sits back. It's not flush to the existing facade. And so that's why I'm saying we're trying to replicate what's already been done in the 3 other
Right.
bays.
And
Yeah.
I'm saying that I don't mind that. I think having it recede, having it slightly offset from the facade, it shows the depth and the grandeur of the historic, heavy, stone building and the rustication. But like everyone else said, why is the door inset and the transom? They're just flat. They're just, They're just almost modernist, just panes of glass,
Right.
panes of glass. A transom, two doors. I don't know what the mullions are, the frames, and that's it. There's no elaboration. This is a grand
Right.
building.
Right, right. I'm sorry to interrupt, but this is exactly what we were saying. We want to see some thickness on stiles and rails. We want to see architecture.
Okay.
Can you give us a detail? Zero in, where's your detail on this door? Because I looked at this before and I couldn't for the life of me see where the difference was
No, let's,
between
well,
last week's conversation and this week's. I'm sorry, last month's conversation and this one.
can we go back to the, where we show the yellow door going back to the yellow where we're taking out? Okay, so give me this for a second. So, when we take the door, these bifold doors out, there is a
Yeah.
metal, existing metal frame that goes all the way around this. And there's an existing metal, existing metal header going over top that. And then
Yeah.
there's a transom up above that's existing. We were not going to touch that, and I don't know how long that's been there for. But that we were going to retain and just change the color of it so it's not flashy chrome.
So where's the proposed for this in the center? We see this is existing in the center. Where's your proposed?
Okay, so let's, and if it's not, well, if you go here with the elevation there, yeah. So you can see the frame is still there, that's existing, and the glass transom's up above. That's all going to remain.
No.
And
Two new doors have no architecture.
but they're set way back by 5 feet, so you don't.
It
they're
doesn't
not right
matter
off the
from
side.
here. There's no architecture.
Vicky, if I may, I'm thinking about 195 Broadway.
Yeah.
There's, I mean,
Right, we
obviously
talked
there's
about that last.
columns. Okay, all right, and I mean, there's much more brass and doors and
Yes.
mullions and
Yes.
transoms and all the rest of it. Stiles, there's actually stiles on the doors and,
Yes.
right.
Stiles and rails,
I think that's what
exactly.
you're talking about was,
Yep.
I mean, it's
Exactly,
successfully done there.
There's nothing here but two pieces of glass with a vertical handrail that meets minimum code. And we're asking for architecture.
I guess what I'm challenged with is that I'm following what was, even though it was previously approved, I'm basically following what was previously approved is what I'm challenged with, which is going to be the exact same as the main entrance to the building. So at least it matches the two of them.
And that's a problem, yes.
Why?
I'm sorry, do you have a drawing that shows exactly how this door compares to what was previously approved?
Let's go to it. I mean, it will match, but I hear what you're saying. Let's go to the Fogarty approval. Yeah, so not a great picture of what's been approved. I can get photos of what was approved, but I don't have them here. So I couldn't get those for you. And the details are there, but if I hear what you're saying, it's like, no, I want to see exactly what we approved before.
It's not
But-
even that. I wasn't in favor of this. The rest of the committee's here, of course. We're asking for some architecture.
Okay.
We're asking for a beautiful door And we all know what that entails, and it's up to you to provide us some styles, some rails. The frame that goes around is a dimension, and then you have the doors, styles and rails, the handrail, all of that stuff has to be architected, not just put in two glass doors that move inwards or outwards. Jason, am I correct, or am I?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can use the word architecture and maybe find a
Yes.
better word. I don't know. You guys seem so willing to keep coming back. You know, if you want to give it one more shot with us, you know, we won't write a resolution, and we can see one. You know, third time's a charm. If you want us to, sounds like if you want us to write a resolution, it's pretty much in the room negative, because it's lacking some sort of articulation or you know, depth in actual framing members, or divisions. So it's up to you guys in terms of the applicant, I think, to decide whether you guys want to give it one more shot, unless I'm wrong on that. If anyone else thinks differently.
I just want to say, looking at this photograph or this picture presentation here, the door on the left looks very different from the door on the right. It looks like existing residential entry not in scope. So that wasn't part of Fogarty Fingers renovation.
You're 100% correct. It was the first two bays because they renovated the whole lobby. So they did the first two bays to the right. And yes,
All right, because we gave them the doors, and to my disagreement, the center bay was given, which I thought was out of proportion, but whatever. And we would like you to give us something with some more architecture.
okay.
Less contemporary, I think more contextual.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jerry. Good saying, yes.
Is there anyone else on the committee that wants to say anything? And then after that, did anyone else come from the public to speak on this?
Yeah, so I'll if there's no more questions, I'll like resolve myself so I can turn it over to the committee to continue the conversation. But I just want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. As always, I do appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew. You're wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan, Vera, Detta,
Right. Anyone else? Otherwise, we can
Alice?
close it, but I don't know. Are we saying that we, you know, are you going to come back, sir? Or do you, or is this what you want to go forward with?
That's
Or do you
it's a
want to
great,
think about it and get back to us because you have a
yeah,
client
I
to-
think I will because as you probably can imagine, I have a client to talk to as well. And so I'll make that conversation and I'll get back to you on it. Is that okay?
I think so, and I'm willing to, you know, gather up our thoughts into a resolution if your client says, you know, no, please, let's proceed. Is that okay with everybody on the committee?
Yes.
Fine with
Okay.
me.
Great. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate your time, everyone, tonight. Thank you very much. Okay, have a nice evening.
Alice, you want to take the floor
Me
here
too.
for a couple minutes? Alice? Well, while Alice is
This is
mute-
Vice President. Where are you, Miss Vice President?
Well, Alice wanted to discuss,
Alice is muted.
I'm here, sorry.
there she is.
Yeah, there you are.
Go
I'm
ahead,
so-
Alice.
I'm really sorry. I was
No, it's okay.
working.
I'm so sorry, but I will have to jump in just 5 minutes because I have to go to another.
Bruce, it's
meeting.
nothing you don't know. It's just a call
Okay.
to arms for, oops, I've got my paper up here. For 2023 as we move forward. Just to sort of review, where we're at with what we would like to see preserved and consider actually kind of creating a list and making sure we kind of really review it carefully. And so I put up here, oops, can you go back to that slide of the Tribeca Historic? So these are the historic districts, which you all know are areas which have been designated by Landmarks Preservation to, be considered preserved or protected in some way. But that does not mean that the buildings that lie within them are necessarily individual landmarks, of course. And you can see the amount of white that surrounds the 5-color, uh, uh, graphic here. And all of those areas are with buildings that do not have any kind of protection. And I just want to point this out and for you all to take a really good look at this and in your own neighborhoods and be aware that with the Soho NoHo rezoning that recently came forth, there's a lot of areas moving along that line of Canal Street on the north and south as well, that are really areas that are being considered for development. And we should be very cognizant of buildings that we would like to see remaining. So it's just a kind of, I talked to Jason about this and certainly Tammy, the idea that we actually in our own neighborhoods identify things that we've thought about, wonder if that's a landmark, maybe it should be, and actually put them down and, share them with Jason, and we can ask for requests for evaluation if you all and the board thinks that's a good idea. And I had one that came to mind, which I'll show you in a minute. But anyway, you could go to the next slide. This won't be too painful, just to go a couple of things. Okay, so I just wanted to refresh folks' memory who might not have been here or who were and remember this, but there are 2 buildings. There are a pair right here, not so far away on Center Street. So this area to the east of Broadway has no protection whatsoever. So the whole Civic Center, though we tried valiantly to extend the historic district, and I know Bruce played a big part on that, we didn't prevail. And so these buildings, the ones when you're walking around over there in the Civic Center, none of them are protected. And so this one in particular, this pair was a wonderful Renaissance revival done in 1911, as I recall, by firms that built the Majestic and some of the great apartment buildings in the city. I think it was called, forgotten now, Schwartz and Gross. We asked for this to be landmarked years ago, not 137, but 139. And it had a little bit of a political component because at the time, our council member wanted to build a tower here, which was going to have some amount of affordable housing in it. These are questions that are going to be constantly in front of us, but, you wanted to look very carefully at buildings that you feel, maybe they'll have affordable housing and maybe they won't, but what they would mean is that the building that you're looking at won't be there anymore. Next slide. And so I'm just showing a slide next that it is what was proposed for this site. Oh, yeah. So, not that that's imminent, it's certainly not. It was laid to rest. This was a Thomas Jewell project, but it's a project, that was, somebody paid money for this architect to draw up as a consideration for a site that is completely open and could certainly be developed. That's a city-owned building. So just keep that in mind when you're taking a look in your neighborhoods about buildings that you think might want to be protected. Next slide. And this little conversation that I just want to have briefly was brought on by this building, 415 Broadway, which is now going to house some sort of art extravaganza, but this on the corner of Broadway and a Canal. And the thing that's interesting here is I didn't realize it wasn't an individual landmark. It does lie within the historic district, so it does have some protection. But I often wonder with buildings like this, maybe we need to go the next mile and actually ask for it to have a request for evaluation as a landmark. And that is actually what I wanted to bring to this committee tonight was, and I'm happy to help write this, that this building maybe you want to consider for a request for evaluation, though it is indeed in the historic district. I don't think it's enough. We saw, I don't know for any of you who followed this, but a number of years ago, the interior was decimated, or let me say that more fairly, renovated, but completely modified, kind of, I have to say, not sensitively to its historic beauty, and we've lost it. And so, some of you may remember it as a Payless shoe store. So, I think we want to certainly preserve its exterior, and this area specifically is an area that will be very interesting because Josephine, that's just north of it. And then the final slide, I think there's one or two more. I just was reminding everyone that in the Civic Center, here's something we did ask for the designation and request for evaluation, which we received a yes on for the courthouse. The red block you're looking at is, of course, the building that is the Tombs that was very much a part of this complex, as you can see, when it was originally built in the 40s. But that is coming down, as you know. So the question here is, when is the next part going to come? Texas courthouse. And so unless we really push as a community to preserve some of these buildings, there is no guarantee that it, much like 250 Water Street and many other things we thought were protected, can go down. So it's kind of a call to arms for 2023 to write a few resolutions and to be pushy to landmarks about them. And the next slide is just a slide of this, our favorite, the jail, showing you that, you know, what's once a 4-tower building will now be a 3-tower, and there's nothing that stops it from moving down the lane. So anyway, that's it from my end. I did want to bring up 415 Broadway if the committee wants to consider this as a resolution for request for evaluation. And that's about it, Jason. And thank you so much for letting me have a moment here. That's it.
Right. Well, I'm sure there's other buildings too, and
Many.
So and also especially on Canal Street, where there are we're landmarked on one side, and then on the other side, some parts we're not, and there's certainly a lot of continuous, 75-foot, 5-story loft style buildings and different revivals that line Canal Street that have never really been appreciated at the ground floor level because they've been covered by so many variations of storefronts and stuff. But there's a lot. So thank you for that, and I'm happy to write some things. And I don't have so much experience, maybe Bruce and some other people do, with trying to get that stuff in front of the commission.
May I just say something before I have to jump? But can we go back to the landmark map, the Tribeca Historic Districts?
That's the first slide.
Yes. Is it possible to share the screen again?
That's actually
Yes, just give me a moment.
Yeah.
And thank you, Annette. You're incredible. Thank you she did this within seconds of me giving her these slides. Thank you. Yeah, Chris, actually, Bruce, you may be able to ask a question. Jason and I were talking earlier, or any of you here I couldn't answer the question as to, are there examples of buildings that are not individual landmarks that have gone down in historic districts?
Very, very rare. I must say it's very rare. The additions are approved, modifications are approved. Something like, there are buildings like El Petty's, which was a huge issue where LPC considered it non-contextual, not even fabric, that it was built in a different era, as was, in terms of what the Landmarks District stood for, what architectural style. But in general, it's extremely rare that a building within a district that is in any way contextual or historic is torn down completely. What I did want to say was that as for this map, Harold DeSarum spent inordinate years analyzing all the parts of this map that are white and what should have been landmarked.
Right.
And what we got, you see that 2 half blocks, that orange 2 half blocks? That's what we got. We got 2 half blocks of the Tribeca South Historic District extension. Now, all the buildings to the left, to the west, and to the right, to the east, are the same contextuality, the same era, the same loft buildings as that little tongue. But they didn't give us that. Also, that huge white emptiness between the 3 landmark districts that Leonard and West Broadway bisect, that was excised from the proposed landmarks districts because so many people in government were graduates of the New York Law School, which is right there, and New York Law School intended to build a dormitory. In fact, they sold all their air rights and wound up selling it to the 63-story 56 Leonard Street Jenga building. So, there are so many political considerations that are beyond us. but I just think it's a great idea that you're bringing this up again. Let a new generation try to achieve what we basically couldn't.
Well, you got somewhere, but yeah, thanks. Okay, well, I guess, Jason, you can follow up in another meeting, you know, with the specifics there. My concern about 415 Broadway was just that, you know, you could see that that building could easily be added onto in some way, and it isn't a contextual environment that it's in. You know, there's something about that, it's kind of singular, and that concerns me. And I think that that's why I would see it as something worthy of consideration for individual landmarking. But, you know, I defer to the committee to decide that if you want to ask for a request for evaluation or not. But I hope that everybody can make a list and send them the suggestions of buildings in your own immediate neighborhoods that, you know, you wonder if this is a landmark. You can, of course, look it up, but if you believe it should be or something that should be protected, no time like the present. Okay.
Okay, guys, so anybody else want to say anything? No? Okay. Well, if anybody ever needs help looking up if a building is landmarked, you go to the DOB website. I can help you guys out. It's clearly noted on there. And try to find some buildings that we can save in our neighborhood
Well, let me ask
while you're out there.
before
Oh.
you adjourn this meeting, because I want to do the process correctly. Does anyone object to to writing a request for evaluation on the buildings that I showed tonight? So we already have 100 Center Street agreed to. I think Tammy and I are going to write a letter to Landmarks asking when they plan on evaluating that building. 2 is the 415 Broadway that I just showed, the bank on the corner of Broadway. And 3 is 137 Center Street and 139, that those 2 buildings that were, again, on Center Street in the Civic Center. I don't know if we want to go run through them again. Does anyone have any objection to having the board review the concept of, or the consideration for a request from evaluation from Landmarks Preservation Commission for those buildings?
No.
No, and I not
No.
only have no objections, I applaud your effort and I thank you.
Thanks, Vicky.
Same.
Ditto.
Okay. All right, well then, Jason, we've got to go ahead on that. It sounds like that's a vote.
Okay, great. So I'll look into how that's done. Maybe Lucien can help me. As I said, I've never done that, but I did see what you did for the Center Street building, or maybe it was the jail. But I can use that as a model, and we could do that. Figure out
I'll
who to
help
send
you,
it to.
Jason.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I already wrote 137 Center Street. I already have that, so that I can give you. Yeah. All right. Well, okay, great. Thank
Well,
you
I was
so
gonna
much.
say, I'll help, and I'm sure Gerald will too.
Gerald, the architect. Yes.
Gerald, the
Thank
architect.
you, Allison. Vicky.
Gerald made a huge milestone.
All right.
We are now in a group of less than 3,500 licensed architects in New York City, and Gerald's one of them. So congratulations, my dear colleague.
Congratulations, Gerald.
Yes.
I hope you don't mind me bringing it up. All right, everybody.
I'm sorry.
Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank
Jason. Have a good night,
you.
y'all.
Bye.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, you too. Bye-bye.